The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaraya Productions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TokuCast Reviews.
Yes.
Episode 97.
Yes.
We're getting there. We really need to figure out what we're going to do for 100.
We are close. It'll be Ghost and something Ultraman. And then,
100.
or Garo. That'd be 99. Girl season 2.
Of the anime.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anywho.
we digress, but right now we are here for Dobutsu. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yep. Yes.
Dobutsu Sentai Zuoger.
Yep.
Yes. We're gonna do this in the good, the bad, and the terror bad.
Not because we think this show is awful.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not.
But it's not good enough for us to give it the full plot breakdown.
Yeah. There are some things in here that really...
Work, don't work,
Yeah.
and really, really don't work.
Yeah, there are some things that just... Ugh.
So let's talk about the
I
good.
feel like you guys liked this show a lot more than I did.
I liked it initially.
I think it's average.
Yeah, I think it's...
Because I remember you
decidedly
put it, because when we did our worst Toku video a couple of years ago, you said this was one of the worst.
It
So I'm a little surprised to
comparatively,
hear you. So I'm a little surprised to hear you
for the
say those.
Toku I had seen at the time, it was one of the worst. But only because I think at the time I was more freshly off the ending of that show, and that ending was really disappointing.
Yeah, the ending was...
Not as disappointing as Die Ranger, mind you,
Oh,
but up there.
Darren just decided to be confusing.
Yeah, Die Rangers, it's disappointing, but it's mostly just...
What?
It's just like... What?
My issues with this Sentai...
Was a good way to put it.
My issues with this Sentai pretty much get boiled down to too much love for Red.
Well, we'll talk about that. But
Yeah,
let's start
start
off with the good. Zoo of the World's introduction.
Zoo of the World, period.
Disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Zoo of
I
the
hate
World?
that scene.
His introduction?
I hate that scene and I hate that character.
Why? Because he's too depressing?
We'll get to that when we get to the bad.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I like
the concept.
Yeah, I love the concept. I think that the introduction of the character works a little bit. However, I will also agree they did it too quickly. He went from good to bad in like an episode and a half.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I like
Go bad to good, I guess.
the aesthetic choice because we've been seeing from that point that Red can lift up his mask to activate the gorilla mode, and he can do the same thing to access his three animals, which I think is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's called the World because he's got so many different animals.
All three of them.
Yeah,
All three of the animals of land, and sea.
valid point. Because the world is 70% water, so
Actually, Zoo Eagle Red, I guess in this case, ends up getting the land, air, and sea.
Yep,
So,
he is more the world than the
Yeah.
world is.
yeah.
Anyway,
No, the world's more like, I don't know.
I definitely
a
wasn't a
zoo.
fan of his weapon
He's
of
more like
choice.
Zoo of the Zoo.
I definitely was not a fan of his weapon of choice.
The staff that turns into a fishing rod that turns into a gun.
You lost me at fishing rod.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like the weapon because I like weapons that change.
Oh no,
And I
I'll
like-
give you that.
And I like creative uses of everyday items.
Mhm.
And it's like the pool cue in Power Ranger / Wild Force.
Yeah.
I really wasn't a fan of that either.
Or the metal detector in Bokenger.
Nope.
Not a fan.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm
Each
guessing
their own.
I'm learning that I don't like it when their weapon is an everyday item. I think I'm learning that
Okay, fair
today.
Fair
I
enough.
think that we all agree with this in our Broken Injury is just the fact that he didn't use the metal detector enough.
He used it like once,
Yeah.
maybe twice. That's fair.
He uses it like a fishing rod quite a bit.
I think
Yeah, you see
here's
him
the
fishing.
thing:
Yes.
if Shinken Gold had a fishing rod for a weapon,
Because sushi.
it would have made more sense. It was thematic to his character.
Mhm.
It just seems random in this case, I guess.
All right,
But
well,
I get why people like it. I just don't.
okay, let's talk
Oh,
about.
I have a couple of good things I want to talk about.
Yeah, go
Okay, I thought you were moving on to the bad. Sorry.
No.
I like the suits to a degree. To a degree. Mainly the helmets.
Yeah. The helmets are okay.
I love the idea
The worst
of,
ones is yellows.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I love the idea that isn't implemented enough of the helmet physically changing to give a different set of abilities that, Red and the World get, that I really think the other four should have gotten. And to some degree, but I get it, they are physically those animals. So
They are physically those animals, and also because like the gorilla and the whale that Red winds up getting are physically transferred to him, and World's powers were, he absorbed them.
I get that, but my point is...
So that's how they were able to do it. So from a story standpoint, I think it made more sense.
Right, I get that, but from a writing standpoint...
Just one.
I can't.
Just one standpoint.
It's just giving
I'll have one standpoint, please.
It's I don't like to use this word, but it's kind of prejudice because it's only the humans who get it, as opposed to the animal people. But I get it because they may be physically limited to what they are characteristically.
Yeah, what they actually are.
But I just feel like when you have a show like Geki Ranger, who they have one animal spirit, but then they get the powers of the shark, of the bat, of the elephant, I feel like it's possible.
Well, I think in that case, it's because of the fact that they were trained to that.
But I feel like you
had a way you could have written it into Zyuohger as well, because all it took was another Zuman to come up and be like, "Hey, Amu, you have proven yourself to me to be a great warrior.
Here's the gazelle.
I bestow you the gazelle.
Here's the power of the horse mask."
Yeah, just something. Because I think my other issue is that all of their helmets look like they could they could change like Red's does.
Well,
to keep, I guess they were just
sort of
some more than others.
Looking at them, it's just like with Reds, it was already a different color, so you could tell that it was going to move. With the others, they're solid.
Yeah.
So it sort of hampers them.
I just think that it was a missed opportunity.
Another thing, I love Leo's character.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked him a lot. Because of the fact that even, and I keep
he was loud and almost naive, but not to the point of annoying.
No, it's the fact that in that episode when everybody
stubborn.
had their inside thoughts coming out, his were the same. He was just the same person the entire time. He never hid anything from anybody. He was always true to everybody around him. And I was like, I have a lot of respect for writing a character like that.
No, I get that. If only, anyway, we're not going to go there.
Another thing. The Gokaiger team up.
That was okay. It could have been much better. It could have been much worse.
Not a fan.
It could have been a lot
Wasn't
worse.
a fan.
I don't like the fact that it was just Marvelous who was there instead of the entire team aside of that one scene where they all came
They were
back.
there, they just did nothing.
Yeah. But I do that sounds like most of their team ups after their show ended.
More or less. I do like the fact that they had Gokai Silver going around to the other teams that they didn't have.
I wish we'd have seen more of it.
Yeah,
the only one we saw.
I would love a movie of that. Just him showing up. I need your powers. Fuck off.
Well, the Tokyuger kids just said yes right away. So
that's Tokyuger. That's within character.
Yeah, but still,
the Go Busters would have been like, no,
sir. How did you get in here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Knew.
Oh, that's true.
So. But yeah, I like the Gokaiger team. I love
Ian from Kyoryuger would have been like, no, who are you?
I
will
love
shoot you.
The fights of just Marvelous switching to the other one when he fought Amu and turned into Geki Red, and she was like, Toya! And they just saw each other. I love when they matched some of the things up together. I thought that was very interesting. Mm-hmm. So it was fun seeing that. I love the fact that it was Marvelous coming back immediately.
Can we all agree that the whale is awesome?
The whale is the other main thing.
That was the only suit that I really liked.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
It's such
I wish all the other suits had looked like that.
It was just, it's such a cool suit. It's such a cool power set. Watching him do Tai Chi and fight these people was the best thing.
Oh.
That was when the show
No, wait, that's something I don't like. Oh, wait.
That was when the show reached its peak. Do we have any other good?
The theme song's nice.
I like the theme song.
I do love the theme song. I listen to that theme song a lot.
Yeah.
I like the opening.
Yeah. It is a above par opening.
I like the actual henshin sequence.
Oh yeah, with Q coming around them.
I mean Tarzan scream.
More the roll call is what I meant. I guess is what I should say. Where just the backgrounds that are used, the way the camera swoops around them, the poses that they adopt.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll give you
that. Very aesthetically pleasing and very high energy.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. Yeah, that is a solid B- roll call.
Thank you, Marcus.
You're welcome.
But I think that's all we got for good.
Let's move on to the bad, Maria.
Now, remember, this is bad, not terror bad.
I know, that's why I don't know how to make the distinction in my head quite yet.
We have a couple things.
Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead and I'll chime in if I feel I can.
Actually, just going back to the good real quick, I'll put Yamato there. I liked him.
Okay.
He was a pretty good character. He wasn't loud. He wasn't obnoxious, and he had a good head on his shoulders. So it was just like
It was a nice change of pace.
especially after the last two that we got.
Yeah.
Moving
It's
on
nice to see Reds like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so last two, just to refresh my memory, so it was Takaharu and followed by Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on to the bad. I want to start off with these two.
He is much more low-key compared to those two.
Which is what we're pretty much like
I
praising
understand.
here.
Because I know you in particular, Marcus, are like done and a half with Loud Reds, so...
Unfortunately,
And here we are with Kira Major.
He's fine.
Has he calmed down? I still haven't caught up.
Yeah, he's been fine.
I'm still like on episode like 4.
Yeah, he's been great.
I've been catching up on 01.
Trailers,
Holy shit.
trailers can be misleading. Or at
Let's
least not
let's talk about Amu and Sayla.
I want to talk... For me, bad...
I don't remember names.
Amu is the tiger, Sela is the shark,
That's
Leo
right.
is the lion, Tusk is the elephant.
I figured out Leo. Without.
Well, I'm just saying just in case.
I forgot.
And Tusk.
I forgot
And
that.
Tusk is the walrus.
Might as well be.
I'll talk about him in a
For,
second.
for bad, it really... I feel like I have to put all the characters here.
I would not.
I didn't
would
like
move.
it. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like any of them. Well, okay, that's not true. It's not so much that I didn't like them. I mean, I kind of didn't. But what I'm trying to say,
Yeah, we'll get there.
this show to me smacks of wasted potential.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like there are so many things about the story, about the characters, about the setting, about
The concept.
everything in the show feels like it never
Gets there.
gets to where I feel like it should have been. Like I remember saying this in our getting back to characters. I said this in our the Ninja review. I didn't mind Takaharu as a character, but one problem I really had with him was I never felt like his energy was where it should have been. Like, he always felt like his energy was a little too low for the way this character should have been played. And I feel that way about these characters, not just in terms of their energy levels, but in terms of them as characters as well.
They didn't go far enough.
I feel like
Excuse me.
no one goes as far as I feel like they should. Like, they should really be pushing. These are all characters that should be big.
Yeah.
They should fill the screen with their personalities, and they all just come across as weak on screen.
I feel like the only one who comes close is Leo.
I disagree.
Out of the 6 of them,
Out of all of them, I feel like Leo should have been more. He should have been bigger. Tusk, I feel like
Tusk is the one I would move to the Terabet category.
I would not. I don't know
yeah,
that
I really hated Tusk.
I didn't like him either, but it's like Tusk. He doesn't really have much of a character.
That's the problem.
And, like, he kind of does, and I feel like there are glimpses of what he could have been. Like, for a character like Tusk, here's what I said, like right from the second episode, I was thinking to myself, this is a character who, in terms of his design and in terms of his attitude, you should have made him the most condescending,
Yeah.
the most, like, the biggest dick we've ever seen in a Sentai. Someone who, if you'll pardon the expression, is always looking down his nose at everyone.
Looking down his trunk.
Yeah, that like I said. And they cast an actor who is very tall and very lanky, like
Because he could have done that.
someone who could have done that, someone who is always just like sophisticated and very just like hoof
Unfortunately.
at everything, but he isn't. And I feel like that's
Nah.
what they could have gone for.
The issue with Tusk is that, at least for my memory, the first real set of characterization we get from him involves another character. And his feelings for another character.
Yeah, with Yamato.
Not just Yamato, but with White, because he has a crush on her or some shit, doesn't he?
I don't remember.
Not really.
I just remember there was a whole episode about the two of them. And I'm like...
That happens pretty early on, yeah.
Uh,
Because White's like not doing her chores and dumping them all on him, and he's like,
But
"Grr, I don't like you."
my point is that if you're going to give us a character of somebody, it can't be because of negative feelings towards somebody else,
Mhm.
because then their character depends on somebody else, which is not good writing, in my opinion.
My biggest problem with
That's
Tusk-
how I feel about all these characters, though.
No, that's fair.
Everyone in this show seems to be dependent on
somebody else.
some sort of outside force, whether
Yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Leo running into the musician guy and that briefly inspiring him, Sella and her family,
Mhm.
Yamato and pretty much everyone he comes into contact with, whether it's Tusk and like the bookstore owner.
Yeah.
I will admit,
My biggest issue with Tusk, and this is why I really want to move into the third bad category, has nothing to do well, it sort of has something to do with this actor, but not the thing that we obviously know he did. It's the fact that his actor is not good enough for this role.
I felt that way about everyone, honestly.
Yeah,
I
but
can
it's
do
like
that.
his, especially
give-
because of the fact that the way that his voice moves, the way that he moves on screen, is just, it's so one note.
Here's
he
the
doesn't
thing.
go anywhere with it.
we also, just like you said, we don't know if that was the actor or the director who
It's-
told him to be more stoic.
Both are at fault.
Yeah.
If that's the case,
And if-
because the job of a director is to get the best performance out of your actor.
And
So-
not to mention the writing is not giving them a lot to work with.
Going back to Amu and Sailor though, before I end up getting to one of my main issues with this, and like I said, I like red and yellow, but it's like these two, I remember nothing.
Yeah.
I remember Sella because of how tied in she was with her family
Yeah.
and how much that got brought up. Amu is the one in the cast who really who never gets anything.
Nope.
No, she doesn't.
She's just a brat.
Yep.
That's like her whole character is that she's a brat. At least that's what I got from it.
Yeah, it's just with those two, I'm sitting here like, I don't remember anything about these characters. They were literally the girl. It's like coming off of Ninja where I didn't like the show, but I remember Kasumi.
Mhm.
And then you have somebody like this who's just like, y'all don't have the personalities to really stand out amongst anything. You really blend into the ensemble more than anybody else. It's like, at least with Leo and Yamato, it's like, all right, I have things I remember positively about them. With The World and Tusk, there are things I remember negatively about them.
Mhm.
You two just sit in the middle. And you don't go anywhere.
It gets back to what I was saying earlier about like the personality should have been bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Personality should have been bigger. The writing should have capitalized on that more. That's how I feel.
I want to talk about Bud.
Who?
Kaisa.
Oh.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Huh.
My problem with him is the fact that he's so sparse throughout this.
He shows up once in the beginning and then again towards the very end.
Yeah, it's like 20 episodes later, then he's Jewel the Bird.
Yep, it's, hey everybody, it's Zuo Eagle, but he's a slightly different color, so he's a completely different character.
And then in the
Buy our
movie,
toys!
and then in the movie, hey everybody, it's Jewel Eagle and Jewel the Bird, but purple now.
Buy our toys. So, things that I did not like, but I don't think were in the Terabad category. The mechs. They missed Minecraft by 5 years, and they shouldn't have tried.
Okay,
Are you tired of that comparison?
I will tell you why when we get to Terabad.
I'm excited. 'Cause I'm terrified about this. Is
I like the idea of Rubik's Cube morphers, because
Yeah.
you can play with that. The only people who can morph are people who can solve it. Only the chosen few can solve it.
By
They didn't do
spinning.
that.
By turning the top piece a few times.
I know, but
What brain teaser is this?
I'm saying that they could have done more with it than they did.
Yeah.
They could have actually given you a goddamn Rubik's Cube. The problem is you also made it a fucking cell phone. Which,
Yeah, and the
Why?
top half was... There was no way to do it correctly.
no.
There's no... Because either the top half is going to be heavy, which it was, or the bottom half is going to be heavy, which is also trash. So it's just like, there's no way to really establish...
Either way, they don't look ergonomic.
No.
No.
I don't mind cubes.
They wouldn't
in
have been
the-
if they just opened sideways.
Seriously. I don't mind like the cube aspect and like how they pilot the mech and stuff. That was really cool, and they just spun it, I guess. But it really, I looked at that and I went, somebody played Minecraft too long, and you missed that by 5
These
years.
are my least favorite mechs of pretty much any Sentai.
Seriously. Even the whale.
Even
Like-
the whale is bad. And there's one coming up in Q Ranger that I hate more than that is like my actual least favorite. It's
Wow.
like the Ninja, the main one. Actually, yeah, pretty much all of the first couple mechs that they get.
Yeah.
The Zooja ones are all god awful, and the Q Ranger one that we'll talk about next time.
Are you talking about when? Yeah, it's
Stupid. But this one, it's just like
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
it's like with this one, they're so boxy, so it seems like they shouldn't move.
Or just move like this.
They're action figures.
Exactly.
They're cheap Transformers action figures.
They are cheap Transformers.
They only have like 4 articulated joints.
No, you know what they are?
What?
Garbage.
Yeah. my other big issue is that everything unique about this main team, so excluding the Sixth, because he's always unique in his own right. Everything unique about this team is given to Red. He's the only one who gets power-ups. He's the only one who has a unique weapon to him. Because in everything else, it's just red. Why?
It's weird because they actually fix that next season.
I think it has something to do with because he's the only human in the cast, and because of who the show is marketed to.
It's like humans can adapt to anything.
Not so much that humans can adapt to anything, but Red was the audience insert character in this.
I give you that, but
and
then
I think that's what they were going for.
But then we get Zuo the Bird, who also has the sword, if I recall.
He does.
So that's out the fucking window because they just contradicted themselves because he's not a human. He gets everything. He doesn't get, the ape and the whale. I get that. But again, Red is the only one who has a unique weapon to him in the main 5. And people would argue that because they have their characteristics of their animal. So does Red. He has the fucking wings. He's the only Pearson. So he's the only character in the show who gets something unique.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking irritating.
It is. Do we have anything else in the bad, or do we want to move
Sentai means squadron.
Because I have something that branches it.
What?
I want to talk about Bunglei.
Again, I'm terrible with names.
He was the other captain that came in a lot later, the space pirate. Because he's sort of...
the villain.
Yeah, he sort of bridges all...
Oh, yeah, the villains are awful.
I want to talk about him first before we get to the rest
Hunter Bunglei.
Yeah, I want to talk about him first before we get into the others. Because he sort of bridges all 3 for me. He has one of the most sadistic plans I've ever seen in the Sentai. The episode with Yamato's mom.
Oh, yeah.
When he brings her back, that was fucked up. It was like, I love it because it's fucked up. But at the same time, it was just like, this is very sadistic. And I sort of love the fact that they were not afraid to go there with that character.
I did just remember one good thing.
What's that?
JoJo the Ape.
Yes, we have to talk about Joseph Joestar.
The first time I've ever recognized a Japanese voice actor just by voice alone.
Oh no!
He went, "Ay, Dios mío!"
Oh
no! He really went and I'm like, yeah, that's Joseph Joestar.
We gotta talk about Larry. Larry is amazing.
Larry's pretty great.
Whenever he shows up, I'm like, all right, we're in for a good time.
I liked hearing that voice again. May the actor rest in peace. But
did he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Cancer last year, I believe. Or a few years ago. But
I'm just gonna roll into sadness.
But
fuck you, 20. You're making me learn all the terrible things.
But I didn't really like Larry as a character that much.
I just thought he was fun.
But
every time,
but hearing that voice again was kind of like, that's kind of nice.
Yay.
Anyway, back to the.
It was just like with Bunglei, it was like, all right, he has this whole part at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then the middle part is, and this actually sort of goes more towards the Terabad category. After the whale came in, he stuck around too long.
He should have died as soon as they got the.
Yeah, that should have been the way.
Like not so much not so much the first time that he uses it.
Yeah,
but after the whale accepts him and he is finally able to use it and control its power.
After he doesn't blow up the moon.
Terabad.
Oh.
Dang it, I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry.
Like his first real fight against him was
thank you. The first real fight against him, that's when they should have killed him.
Yeah.
That's when they should have killed him.
If I remember correctly, that episode was after the mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then absolutely.
That's
the thing with his mom was very early on in his appearance. So
he was just like, I'm just going to mess with him throughout the entire thing. I was like, all right, I think that's still one of the best episodes of the show, just because of how really twisted it was. Mm-hmm. It's like, I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that y'all went there. However, and it's just going to move us straight on to the Terabad category. The fact that he lasted as long as he did really did a disservice to his character because he had
the fact that he went out like such a bitch in the end.
He had nothing to do. It's
Also,
just like he had
Can
no
we
motivation.
stop designing our villains as immobile fuckers with like
Big slugs on their butt.
yeah, like giant skirt-looking motherfuckers? I'm like, that's not intimidating. Not everybody can be Jabba the Hutt. It didn't even work with Jabba the Hutt,
I would disagree.
depending on what movie you're watching. Because I'm also referring to the added scene.
The special edition.
Yeah, the added in like
In New Hope.
In A New
In
Hope,
New
and
Hope.
he looks like flaming hot turd garbage.
Oh, I know.
But anyway,
Love Return of the Jedi.
oh, absolutely.
I love that. Except for that stupid size Simmons number. Anyway, moving on to Terabad.
I will say this though, Cue Ball, who was the one who looked like a squid.
Yeah.
I love.
Hungry kind of did too.
Yeah, they were all
Also,
really novel.
cue ball. I thought you said cue ball.
Same thing.
It's not. It's not.
They're all gambling themed. You have Trumpus, Trump Card,
Yeah.
and you know.
I love.
That's probably what they'll call him in the American version.
If
No,
they
wait,
ever
they'll
do
never
it.
make the name because there's an Orange Ranger.
If they ever do it, but I love that fight between
They'll
him
edit his scenes out.
Yeah,
and
not that hard in this case.
between him and Zuo Whale because Zuo wrecked him so hard. He just kept trying to hit him, and Zuo was just like, "No, I don't have time for this. Wax on, wax off." Just like, all right, that's the only thing I remember about him because he just got wrecked by that character. However, let's talk about Death Galleon.
Okay, this gets into
It's terrible.
pretty much everything else that I feel about this show. What the hell are Death Galleon?
Trash.
No, I mean, from a story perspective, what were they thinking?
Exactly.
What were they thinking with this? Okay. Terabad for me, it's the story as a whole.
Yeah.
It is like everything to do with the story because there's so many things in it that I feel like you could have it's like if you just tweaked it a little bit or done this a different way or done this a different way or, you know, just minor little adjustments here or a big tweak here, you could have had something great. But what is this? What is this? Why?
Lazy.
Okay, this is, without a doubt, I don't know, Marcus, you'd have to correct me on this, or did this show suffer from lack of funds?
I do not believe that it did.
Because I know this came out around at the same time as Ghost, and we know that did, because a lot of its money went to Amazon's. What? Did this suffer from a similar fate, or do we know?
I don't think it's been reported.
Okay, because this show is quite possibly the laziest and cheapest looking Sentai I've ever seen.
That is absolutely accurate.
That's true.
The suits, I've said positive things about them in the past, but watching the show in its entirety and seeing them every episode, they look so cheap.
Especially
They are not form fitting. The parts that, like the animal parts that grow on them, like the shark fin or their tails,
Oh, I thought the shark fin was going to fall off every time.
they all look like they're going to fall off. They look like they've been, pasted. They look like
The claws on Lion and Tiger look god awful.
they look the fact that like both Tiger and Lion both get claws on
is
the
lazy.
is I would have liked it a little more if the Tiger had gotten claws on her feet.
See, that would have been smart.
Because in the animal kingdom, tigers use their females. They use the hind claws for defense.
That requires way too much research.
They've done it before. They'll do it
And
But
you know what would have made this show? Because I don't want to get too much into it because I want to save that for another video. But
you went to a Rantocast?
more like a How We Would Fix
Fair enough.
/ Rantocast. But the fact that the villains are just like they're just gamblers who are here to
Play a
cause
game.
they're here to cause chaos.
They don't really have a lot of
They
motivation.
don't really have one aside from like let's go down there and wreck up things for a larf. And that's about as far as they ever seem to get.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then at the end of the show, they pull like, "Aha! The planet is feeding me out of my." That just feels like it was pulled completely out of the writer's asses. What?
To be fair, a lot of the ending was.
Yeah, I know.
Can we also just, seriously, the ape suit looks like you put a bicycle pump in just for 3 hours? Like,
Hello, sir. I have large biceps. Oh, yes, you do, sir.
That
Do you
is
inflate
the-
them with a bicycle pump?
like, everyone's like, how can we defeat this form? Poke it with a sharp object?
He looks like the arm
And then watch him go,
things- the arm things from the one episode of SpongeBob.
I know what you're talking about.
It's the stupidest thing. On the planet!
On
the world, though!
Speaking of the world, though, I know from what I'd seen in the past, I remember you showing me his intro scene, and I thought it was cool. I remember us putting him at number 1 many, many years ago.
As a Six Ranger. Top 10
But
Six Rangers.
watching the show in its entirety now, I hated that scene. Because one problem I think this show has a lot of, it's inconsistent power levels.
Yeah.
Our old friend, inconsistent power levels.
And our old
Zero
friend,
the World shows up, and
Rex.
he's way too strong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he shows up, he doesn't just beat the Zooders,
He
he
bodies them.
freaking bodies them! To the point where, how are you all still standing?
Yeah.
How
You
did you
should
stay morphed for this long? This is nuts! How the heck are you gonna beat this guy?
Yeah.
How are you gonna win?
When he changed,
There are only 2 ways, and then I said, there's only 2 ways they can beat him. 1, inconsistent power levels will show up again, and they'll somehow manage to beat him that way. Or B, they're gonna make a speech about friendship, and he's gonna come to their side. B turned out to be true, and it was stupid.
Yeah, when you first see him, like when he goes into Wolf that first time and just ruins Sailor and Abu in like no time flat.
Because he's the Flash, because wolves are known for their super speed.
And then he
That's
goes,
another thing. Why did we have 2 cats? Yellow could have been a cheetah instead of a lion. And then we could have had a tiger. And then we could use speed as opposed to claws.
either way, the mech would have been trash.
I'm not saying it wouldn't have been.
Either way, the suit would have been trash.
Sorry,
Matt-
that's a thought I should have saved for how it would fix.
I apologize if I feel like I'm going all over the place. I have
That's
so
fine.
many thoughts that I'm trying
That's
to
what
keep
this
up.
show does.
Let's try to narrow it down. Let's talk about some things specifically.
I'm trying to.
I really want to talk about Jagged.
Ooh.
The cube one. The cube bad
Oh,
guy.
right. Him.
Why? It's just like they made him important too late.
I feel like they didn't make him important at all.
He's
He's just yet another general with... Because I decry Power Rangers a lot for having the same voice for a lot of their villains. Sentai doesn't too. They're just as guilty. But I guess I'm a little more forgiving because it's a language I don't speak. But
and they're less grating on the ear.
that is also true.
Yeah.
Getting back to my audio thing, but sorry, I didn't mean to...
But when it
cut
ends
you
up coming to something like Jagged, it's like, all right, you're here. You're apparently suddenly so important to this human world because you caused some great calamity that Cestus, the original Zuo world, had to stop initially. Okay. Where was any hint of this near the beginning of the show?
Where was Zooders? I've faced one of you before.
Yeah. Like, even something like that. Just,
Some sort of a grudge.
Would have gave a mystery. Yeah. It would have been great doing something like that.
Or if not a mystery, at least it would have, intrigue.
Yeah. It would have given us something to actually go off with this character, other than the fact that he blows up, he immediately can put himself back
comes
together,
back together.
blows up again a couple episodes later, puts himself back together. It's just like, alright, this is annoying.
Well, blowing up is our only string to our bow. How do we beat this guy?
It just,
Blow him up more.
It just got more and more annoying throughout the time. His character does nothing.
Ugh.
It doesn't do anything for the story. He just suddenly becomes important to these humans later, and they have to beat him in their own emotional ending, but there's no emotion attached to it. Garbage.
I have to get back to what I was saying earlier about the show being cheap and feeling lazy.
Please tell me you're going to talk about the mechs.
I am, and
Yay.
not just the mechs, but a lot of things.
Well,
One thing
let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish. Sorry, my brain. Everything about the show, from the suits to the aesthetics to the way that it's shot, it just looks and feels like they ran out of money and they ran out of ideas, and the design of not just the mechs, but also the human world as well.
where they're all horse masks.
It's not just that they're all horse masks. This is what happens when your art department gives up and wants to go for an early lunch.
Or, and I'm saying this because it happened, it seems like it happened at least, they waited and used all their art budget for the next season. Because all the suits are done a lot better, all the mechs are done better, they go to different worlds and they actually have alien races on them. It's like they just saved all their money for Q Ranger.
It's possible. It's possible, but because it happened so early on, like it's apparent from episode 1 that this Matt, I've listened for years to you making this comparison to Minecraft.
Just blocky
and no. This is not Minecraft.
It's Roblox.
You know why it's not Minecraft? Minecraft would have required more effort.
Ooh.
Minecraft would have required more effort and more thought put into what was going on. This is the art department throwing their hands in the air and going, cubes, I guess.
Maybe.
It's just I don't know, just cubes, I guess. It's the morpher, it's the mechs, it's the design of the Zuman world. It's just cubes, I guess. And they're not even consistent with it.
I'm going to show you 2 pictures. Which one is from the show, and which one is from Minecraft? Can you tell? Because I fucking can't.
I can.
It was a joke. I'm trying to say it's just overly blocky. And when I think blocky, I think Minecraft. Now, when I say this is Minecraft, I mean this is someone who was designed a mech after playing Minecraft for a week. Not people who have built recreations of the fucking cities of Lord of the Rings in Minecraft, or people who made a working Skype phone in Minecraft. Somebody ordered pizza in Minecraft. I'm talking about the goddamn person who still doesn't know what the Nether is and decided to make a golden penis out of golden blocks. That's what I'm referring to. It's a reference he gets. That was for him.
It's just... To look at these things is terrible. And that was the thing I'm saying here, like...
And they do nothing but get worse.
Yeah. It's like rewatching this show...
Also, how the hell do you control those mechs?
Turning cubes.
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, first of all...
It's Sentai.
Let's say
I
it's
know
Sentai.
it's Sentai, but even within the context of their world, it has to make sense to me.
I mean,
the Kyoryugers swinging their swords with no, like, control apparatus, that made more sense.
Well, yeah.
That made sense to me.
I was thinking Time Ranger with their swords.
Them just with a big cube and just kind of going, eh.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at Time Force and Time Ranger. Sword and ground. Go! Just like, feelings! Like, they don't even move.
It made more sense to me there than it did. This one, it just gets back to being...
Because I think the reason why. Because it's directional, you expect it to mean something. So, like, if I spin it counterclockwise, you expect me to swing like this. So if I go, ba-da-da-da, and I go like this, it makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah.
There's no up and down there, because they can't spin the cube in a 360 direction.
Which would honestly make it better.
Because, like, yeah, like, I get it, space magic, fantasy, whatever, you can do whatever you want, but you can do whatever you want, but within the realms of your world, it has to make sense.
Also, the fact that they're all numbered is stupid. Also,
it felt gimmicky.
Also, the fact...
I want to talk about that, actually, for a quick second.
Okay.
Because this always bothers me when they don't know their powers at the beginning. How do they know which number to press?
That's a very good question. How do they know what to press? How do they know how to... Because even the Zuman, they don't know how those things work.
And this is why I hate the first episode of this show, because so much happens. It's like, Peppy, you gotta keep going. It's like they're on speed the entire time, and I hate that about it.
Another thing I really hated is that they tried to go with the gimmick of they're all cubes that unfold into their animal. Mm. One, they all look awful, and two, Shinkenger did it better. Why you trying?
They look like Happy Meal toys.
They really do.
Yeah, they do.
All of the
No, I'm
like
sorry. There are Happy Meal toys from the 80s that looked better than that, and I can show you them.
They're Happy Meal toys that aren't associated with anything else. So they just put something out.
McDonald's released a line of Transformer, like so it's a burger that turns into a robot. Yeah. That looked better.
I had one of those.
But you know how you have, like... when I say Happy Meal toys, it's like, here's what I mean. Because you know how you have, like, the action figure you buy at the store. It's got all these points of articulation. It looks pretty nice. Looks pretty faithful from the show. Then you have the Happy Meal toy, which you can move one joint on it,
or you can't move any joint on it, and it just shoots something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's what these look like.
Yeah, that's fair.
They look cheap and they look stupid.
Going back to the villains.
I feel like we can build these in Lego and have them look better.
You probably could.
And look better.
I want to talk about... Keylal doesn't do anything. And when he tries to do something, he dies. I want to talk about Maria first before I go to the big one. Maria is garbage. She does not do anything except grow the monster. And this is something that I've talked about.
Every time she came on screen, all I could think was Robert Muldoon.
Sorry.
Shooter!
Like, if they didn't...
I'm trying to go back to this, but what the fuck is this?
A mess.
That isn't, like, I don't need to learn how to count with my legs.
Show it to us.
Well, I figured you would find
I am.
You would put it in.
But
like,
it's like, going back to Maria, I'm sitting here looking at her like, would you actually do something? Like, besides just going to, like, she fights occasionally, but then she gets beaten and leaves.
She's not good at it.
No, she's not. She has nunchucks. They're like, all right, Maxie from Soul Calibur.
next.
Instead, nope.
Maxie could have beaten her.
First of all, yeah,
Well,
no,
yeah,
Maxie's
just
great.
just match Y. You're good.
Yeah. I was about to say, I thought Maxie was like your main in Soul Calibur.
But I'm saying, like, when she first came, I was like, all right, Maxie, good. Nope.
Nope.
Bad Maxie.
She is bad. And then she
You're-
she grows and
You're
then she
Maxie
dies.
when player 2 forgot the controller.
She grows and then dies. And I'm sitting here like, no.
I cut this if you want. I did not know Soul Calibur 6 was still releasing DLC characters.
Yep.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You're still trying to be
I didn't
relevant?
know
It-
that.
I
This
saw
is
a trailer on YouTube like last week, like it just came out, like, it's like coming in August. I'm like,
They're
DLC character 12, and I'm like, the fuck?
They're still in like fighting game tournaments.
Well, that I don't doubt.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, hey, as long as people are liking it, I
Yeah,
guess.
Skullgirls came out a while ago and just released a new character. So I'm just like,
That was years ago.
there's like the new character has an umbrella katana, and she's looking after me. Like
Yeah,
she's
she's
hunting.
Oh, Setsuka.
yeah.
Yeah, she's hunting down Mitsurugi, and I'm like, they're still doing like what? This game is still trying
Hey,
to.
at least they're tying them into the characters.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Cut that if you want. Sorry.
Let's talk about the big one. Genus.
AKA, I'm gonna sit on my ass and do nothing.
He is the most sit on my assest character in pretty much all of Sentai history. He just doesn't do anything.
He can't even. This is another thing
That's
about
pretty much all the villains. They don't do anything.
tying this back into Zero the World. Instead of actually doing something when they're giving their power of friendship speech, we believe in you.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like, hey, no, believe in me instead. Instead of, going down there and doing something and maybe, showing that he's the bad guy and sparking a change of heart in
And
the world.
Speaking of Java the Hutt, holy fuck.
Yeah, he got a big booty.
He got a skirt.
Yeah.
He's got a dress.
Giant royal dress. But
It's stupid.
him being extremely vain, I can see that it would work for a character who did a lot more. But at the same time, you have him being made up of a whole bunch of the foot soldiers at the end of the show. And that, I think, that broke my brain.
His
originally.
final form looks like you shouldn't be able to walk in it.
It shouldn't.
Is that the one with the skull-looking wings and the double?
Yeah, it has huge wings and it just looks cumbersome. Yeah.
No, it
It's
looks
cumbersome.
It looks overly chaotic and stupid.
And he's like, haha, the planet is listening to me now, and
I
it's
feel like
giving
I would
me power.
I feel like I would see that more in a soul.
And then the Zooters
And
are
a-
like, no, it isn't.
And oh god, I keep trying
That's
to say Soul
basically
Calibur.
that's
not
basically
Soul
just a
Calibur.
rehash of Zed's from Tokyo
What
when
is
he
it-
gets
what
his
is it,
final
give
form.
Demon Souls and like a knockoff of that. I feel like I would see him there.
So Lords of the Fallen.
Yes, but with a more
Slightly bad spirits.
There you go.
But it's just like that suit is a rehash from Zed's, his final form from Tokyo, and he is not interesting enough of a character to really do anything with. And that's really this entire cast. I hated the uncle. When you have, I hate when they do we have to hide that these people are from here. I feel like the guy that you live with, you should at least say something.
Yeah.
Because it's just you try to have these comedic scenes, and I'm just they keep falling.
See, I've always had a problem with secret identities to a degree, even in comic books.
Yeah.
I get not telling the villains,
Yeah.
but if you have a significant other, a mother, a father, who's going to wonder where the fuck you are,
Or in this case, an uncle.
yeah, who's going to wonder where the fuck you are, the fuck you're doing, why you're showing up with bruises at 3 o'clock in the morning, tell them! It will save you a lot of headache in the long run.
It just becomes too much work. And I'm just it gets stale because he doesn't find out till near the end.
Though, I do admit Futurama took my argument and spun it on its head. When they all became superheroes and her dad immediately outed her to everybody he could talk to. Asshole.
Yeah, that whole thing was just, ugh.
This whole show is just ugh.
This whole show is just, ugh. And
It's not the worst Sentai
No.
I think I've ever watched, but going off what Jacob said, it is the laziest and the cheapest looking.
it's just boring.
It is just boring.
It's that too.
Like, I don't really have any, although this entire video is sort of contradicting that, I don't really have a lot of strong feelings about this show.
We have feelings, but
It's
like
just
at the end of the day, we're gonna forget it. To quote me and Jacob's favorite,
One of my favorites, but Jeremy Johns, I'm not going to remember it in T-1 day. Yep, I already forgot it.
yeah, like if you know who that is, that's pretty much how I rank this. It's like, all right,
This is
next.
sort of like the opposite of Tokyo and Magic Ranger for me, where I like those shows a lot more upon rewatch. This one, I'm just sitting here looking at it like,
Would you redo the Six Ranger list rewatching it? Yeah.
I was like, I don't care about this.
It was a lot better the first time around.
Yeah. It was like, I remember Yamato and Leo and Tusk for all the wrong reasons. But it's just like, everybody else, everything else in the show, the story,
One lesson I called Terabad. When he accessed the powers of eagle, whale, and ape at the same time.
Oh my god, that suit is garbage. It like you just grew a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's a gorilla.
And the eagle.
The eagle
And
and
the
the whale.
whale.
It's great. I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna put 3 animals
I
on
blew
me.
a hole in the moon.
It is great. Took a chunk out of the moon.
I
We're
hate
going
it.
Oh
to
my god, this is
steal
gonna be
the
the best show
moon.
ever.
Oh my God.
It's like it feels like a lot of this is sort of, especially the ending, is a rehash of Tokyo User
Also-
because they just combined the forms that
Also, did they blow a hole in the moon and then just not talk
Well, they
about it?
didn't blow a hole in the moon. They it skirted the surface
Yeah,
and like
grazed
blew
it.
a bunch off.
Yeah, grazed it.
I feel like that would still fuck
it
with
would.
the-
And again, thank you for bringing that up because I almost forgot because that gets back to Terabit. That's another big problem I had. Whale shows up and I'm like, it's too powerful.
Yeah.
That thing took a chunk out of the moon. Point that thing up at the big ship in the sky and just,
You win.
and then you
Yeah.
win. What are we still doing here?
I don't say this a lot. I do not. But in terms of that specific type of plot point, Ruby did it better. Blowing up the moon. Because it was done by a god.
I thought the Tick did it better.
I think that Dragon Ball did. Well, Z at that point did it better.
I'm not saying they didn't, but
Pickle was like, "Oh shit, nope."
but the fact that he was able to do that and then
And he's
but that's
so-
power level inconsistencies again.
Well, no, he was just like they were still power level consistent. It was just the fact that he was strong enough to do that, but he still getting Reddits at that point.
That's my point. But again, we didn't have to worry about that in Ruby because it was done by a fucking god. So we don't have to worry about power level inconsistencies there.
I don't really know anything about Ruby, so
Same.
You know that
Nope.
that? Okay. Now I was gonna say the shirt that I have with the two
I know the
dragons.
shirt.
I know what it is. I just don't watch it.
yeah,
I was more talking to him.
but yeah, George is just
Terabad. Well, it's just bad.
it's just boring.
It's
very boring, very underwhelming.
I feel I've said all
I would still watch it over Ninja.
No, I take it back. I have another problem.
Okay, go for it.
The ending theme.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is a problem I have with a lot of endings as a whole. Even ones that I do like inherently. The ending theme needs to be something that you could play at the end of any episode. I'm sorry. When you have a stupidly radical tonal shift, like here's 3 dead bodies strung up by their necks, and we are leeching their powers into a screaming man who is chained up,
Which was a harsh
and then we immediately cut to dancing, everything is happy. No. That is just so horribly inconsistent.
I have one of those.
I hated that scene to begin with because it was just such a lurchingly terrible tonal shift, and it just was not done well. But ugh.
You know me and my hatred of ending things, so it comes to no surprise that I hate this one. So-
I'm honestly glad Kamen Rider doesn't really do them anymore.
well, Saber,
I know.
Hopefully it's a good one.
it's a good one.
One thing I forgot that I also didn't like. The world's Morpher.
Oh, the
Fucking
flashlight.
flashlight.
Oh, the flashlight.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And honestly,
Hit it against the knee and boof.
like, he tried to make it cool. It didn't.
No, it didn't.
Shine. Next, please. Can we get on to...
But we're done.
Anyway,
We're
can we
done.
get
I think we're done now.
on to Q Ranger?
No, unfortunately, next time.
I know.
Well, join us in episode 98 before Kamen Rider goes. There's no joy to be had here.
I might start drinking again.
I mean,
And to people to anybody who's new and just heard me say that, I'm not a recovering alcoholic. I
No,
just
but
don't
we
drink.
are referencing our Black RX review.
Yeah. I'm not a recovering alcoholic. I'm not making light of alcoholism. I just don't drink because I get drunk too fast.
well,
I need to
I'll
make sure
say this.
that was there.
I wound up liking the Ninja. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I do with this and every other show. Just leave my expectations at the door. Hope for the best.
How'd that work out for you this time?
Well, have you listened to me for the past 50 minutes?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think the next Sentai is better, but Ghost is a whole other.
Well, I think it's safe to say that a lot of our viewers have certainly been looking forward to this.
That's no. What? It's not like we have a fucking hashtag.
We're getting
for it.
so close. Don't forget to join us in all the things. And we'll
Let
see
us
you
know
next
what you
time.
think in the show in the comments down below.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We may not make it.